So it's the morning of day 3. Last night it got a little rainy. Unfortunate things happened. You probably can't tell from the montage picking up everything, but we're not in an epic campsite somewhere in the Cohutta or any other part of the Traverse for that matter. We're actually in the driveway of my family's property up in Cleveland. It appears it's going to be a beautiful morning here in Oconee County, South Carolina. We are just a short distance from Burroughs Ford Road, or the start of the Georgia Traverse. Now, we have allotted 3 days to run the Traverse. However, we learned some valuable lessons on the Utah trip. We planned the scheduling so tight, we missed out on a lot of the things we could have went and saw and places we could have visited. So we're going to take our time and poke along the Traverse. And if we can complete the whole Traverse in our 3-day time frame, great. But I'm taking this time to spend with my dad, and we're going to take it slow and easy. And if there's something we want to see, we're going to stop. And if we want to stay a little longer at camp, we're going to stay a little longer at camp. We're going to give it our best shot to do this in 3 days. And you know what? If we can't get it done in 3 days, we'll come back and do it again. Well, we're not too far in, and we're already having an issue with the truck. We noticed on the drive up to the Cherry Hill recreational area, when I was turning on some of those mountain roads, I kept getting a kind of a roaring coming from the front. Something just didn't sound right. And it also sounded like a little bit of brake squeal. Pulled off, started to look at it, and I noticed the tires did a lot of highway, wore some flat spots coming up the highway, and the outside had some walking, so I thought maybe that was the roaring noise when we were turning. Appears I may have overheated the brakes. I'm hoping I don't have a stuck caliper. Right now we're allowing the truck to cool down. I don't know if I should have, but I poured water on both of them. Maybe that's a good thing, might be a bad thing, I don't know. But we're gonna let it cool a little bit and then get back on our way. And I think I'm gonna put some gain in the trailer, get some more braking on the trailer versus the truck, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we finally made it to camp. We pulled into Clayton, Georgia. We went to an Advanced Auto Parts so I could purchase a set of pads, rotors, and a caliper for the truck. I went out there to jack the truck up. I noticed that the the passenger side wheel, I could wobble it back and forth. I knew right away it had nothing to do with the brakes. I was concerned it may have been a ball joint because that's something that I've been wanting to change on the truck. That's the only thing I haven't changed, beefing up the front end. But it turned out it was actually a wheel bearing. Fortunately, I don't have the tools with me to change the wheel bearing, so we went over to Duval, Ram, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and I asked them if there was a possibility they could squeeze me in. And naturally, without a reservation or booked it ahead of time, they weren't even going to see me. When I explained to them what I was doing, how far I lived away, that had my 77-year-old father with me, the dog, the trailer, they actually moved stuff aside and pulled my truck in and knocked that wheel bearing out. So I want to give a huge thank you to Duval, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep for doing what they did. It cost me $1,100. I'm not happy about that, but you know what? It's a small price to pay for the memories that I'm going to make with my father. So now we are cooking hamburgers. I got us some Sugarland moonshine so we can have a drink by our fire and reflect on today. Alright, so we've already packed up camp. We're on our way out of here. We're going to head over to Cooper's Creek now. Fortunately, last night we missed the Tray Mountain portion. Now, I've crossed Tray Mountain multiple times. I've even stayed on Tray Mountain, but due to the setback on the wheel bearing issue, it was getting later in the day. It was throwing our time. We wanted to try to find a place to camp. What we decided to do was run over to Dix Creek. Now, that's a bit of a stretch, and it did cost us the Tray Mountain portion and everything else, but no big deal. I've stayed up here on Dix Creek before. It's beautiful. I love the top campsite. It's very quiet. Again, we've already packed up. We are in the truck getting ready to roll. We're going to see what we can get into today. Alright, so we just ran Cooper's Creek, a moderate road. There's nothing technical. However, it is rough. I wouldn't say it's not maintained, but it's just heavy granulars, a lot of rock, just rough. Bounces you all over the place. One of the longest parts of the Georgia Traverse that you're gonna hit on dirt, depending on how quick you move through it. Pulling the trailer, you know, I don't get more over a speed of 10, 13 miles an hour. I think I might have hit 15 like one time, and it wasn't for a long period of time. But we're gonna check the map, and we're gonna start looking for a place to kind of find a campsite on. All right. More track. Yeah, a lot of people coming in. Well, I mean, it is a WMA, and it is hunting season, so let's see. Whoa. Okay. I think we're gonna go pick up 60. Where is 60 at?
Should be coming across. There's 60 over here.
So we're gonna follow this up and then come over and peg 60. All right.
What's that say?
That's just telling us to turn. No, I think once we hit
Creek Road.
Yeah, once we hit 60, we'll go top off with fuel. Starting to get pretty low here. So we'll go top off with some fuel and start mapping out the next campsite.
Daryl and Pops drove hours late into the night, hitting trail after trail of the Georgia Traverse in an attempt to find a campsite before entering the Cohutta Wilderness. What they were not aware of was the large cycling event in North Georgia, which had attracted hundreds of people from all over the country. This same weekend was also the first weekend of autumn and cooler weather in Georgia, and it had drawn a lot of people in ready to take advantage of the great outdoors and camping. Passing occupied campsite after occupied campsite, the decision was made that the next paved section of Traverse, they would backtrack to Cleveland, Georgia, where they would set up camp on family property. As they rolled into LJ and just a short distance from entering the Cohutta, the boys turned around and headed for Cleveland. Unfortunate things happened, but failed wheel bearings or lost time backtracking will stop them from completing the Traverse. Stay tuned for part 2, where Daryl and Pops will tackle the Cohutta Wilderness, making their way into Alabama and Little River Canyon.